It's not that often that I react to viral videos on the internet, but this one I couldn't really ignore. It's even less often that I react to ones on TikTok. I personally don't actually go on TikTok, but I have seen screenshots from this video, so I've seen enough of it to be able to comment on it. And the reason why I'm reacting to it, guys, is because it is all about a car dealership. A worker there noticed that a vehicle that a customer had traded in had been modified. Now, that might not sound too egregious, that might not sound too crazy, but there's more to this story. I'll explain why here on the channel as always. So whenever you're buying a car, you should always look up the Carfax. Always look up the details about its history. Here in the UK, look up its MOT history. Over in the US, look at the Carfax. Whatever equivalent you have in whatever part of the world you are watching this on, do go look that up, because you can find some pretty interesting stuff in there. And surprise, surprise, the people that you're buying it from very often do skip on these details. I'm still convinced I got swindled for an old car of mine about a detail that he very conveniently left out. But that's by the by. That's me many years ago. Always forgiven relatively there. But let's have a look at why this really is a bit of an interesting one. And it's not just customers, not just the average George, John and Jane on the street. No, it's also dealerships as well. They sometimes skip out on the details. They miss certain things. And this does apply to this one over here in New Jersey in the United States. Because a car salesman called Joseph posted a video on TikTok saying and claiming that a car that a customer had traded into his dealership was modified by the owner, but the mechanics didn't notice until it was too late. The car in question was an Audi TT RS. He explained the predicament, quote, "My client traded in his TT RS for a Denali we had in stock, but he failed to tell me a few major things about his car. He actually traded this car in with some tuning on it, and we didn't know what." And this was a big modification because it affected the check engine light. Now, if you know anything about check engine lights, kind of important, kind of a safety hazard when that doesn't come on when you should. Now, in Joseph's own words, he did say that this was, quote, "a stage 1 tune, which is nothing crazy," end quote. Now, you might be wondering, well, how come they didn't check things? Well, they did check some things anyway when it came to this, because it turns out this tuning modification is effectively removing the catalytic converter, hence why that engine light was not working as it should be. You would think they would check that though. That's pretty hard to miss if you're looking for it. So they got swindled. You bought it as you saw it. You bought it as you saw it. You got to live with the consequences of that now. You got to get a catalytic converter. You got to get a catalytic converter on that. But it does also beg the question, how are they actually checking these cars? Because if they actually hooked it up to like a computer or something, it'd be very easy for them to check this. It'd flag up straight away. It'd take a minute to say, oh, there's no catalytic converter on this car. It's missing this part. And then the deal would have been, well, I mean, they might have still gone for it, but probably at a reduced price. So yeah, I mean, the dealership really have their own themselves to blame on this one. Bit dumb, not gonna lie, but hey, live and learn, I suppose. It also makes me laugh that this guy, Joseph, you know, this was his friend who actually did this deal with him. So I don't think they'll be friends anymore after that somehow. That's definitely going to put a spanner in the works of their relationship. But yeah, crazy car stories when it comes to buying and selling, guys. Get them in the comments below. I want to read them. I want to see what you've got, because this is not the craziest at the end of the day, but it's definitely an interesting one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, guys, as always, and have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today. See you very soon.